10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Competition Plus Power Hour. It is the week or the 2 days after the rainy, soggy Gatornationals, but we did crown winners, and
yes,
we crowned some great ones.
I didn't think you guys were going to get racing in, honestly. And Memphis Lonnie, surprise, it's not Lee.
Yes, Lee is in travel right now, trying to get back from March meet. He's trying to cover as much ground as he can. So he asked for Nikki to sub in and carry the show here. We're going to probably maybe see him later in the show to talk about March meet. But yes. We're going to talk to Chad Green and J.R. Todd here about the Gatornationals. And there's a lot to unpack with both, but especially with J.R. Todd. Both have had a lot of things going on in the offseason to bring them into this season.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I take my little prep notes. I'm like, oh, I forgot about the Coletta changes too. And, taking the crew chief. Oh, thank you, Lonnie.
And it looks like Chad Green is ready to go. And we're going to go right to our first commercial break. And let's just say, if you need parts for your race car, there's only one place you should be going. They have great prices, very low prices for you to be able to afford to build your car, and that is Competition Plus Products. And after this, we'll have Chad Green.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S.
Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away.
Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is your Week 1 Funny Car winner. It is Chad Green. How you feeling, buddy?
Hey, I'm feeling great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. What a season, man. Off season, you guys are thrashing. You got 2 cars out there. You ended the season great, though. A lot of work going on, though. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, we've had a crazy off season. I mean, it's been really crazy. We decided, we started talking about it towards the end of last year, putting together a second team, and we was able to do that this off season. We brought on Blake as a second driver, and he's gonna race, the majority of the races as the primary racer, and then my son's gonna get a chance to jump in the car for 4 or 5 races. So it's been a really exciting, stressful, but exciting off season for us.
Great. And you got a great crew on your hands. I'm like, one of the reasons I love you, because I love the underdogs, but Joey, Serena, and those guys, good friends with them. I work with Wilkie, and how great is it to have that team behind you?
Let me tell you, my guys, they've been so great. Joe, he's been with me from the very beginning since I started driving Funny Car, and he's just progressed over the years. And to promote him up to crew chief along with Dean Marinas, that guy's been with me since my Pro Mod days as my crew chief. And they're just 2 really sharp minds, and they complement each other. And it's just a great match, and we're starting to gel, and as you can see.
Yes.
Memphis Lonnie asked, is Hunter still running A fuel this season?
No, our plans, Hunter's not, he's not going to run A fuel this year. We're just going to concentrate on our nitro program. And like I said, we plan for him to run 4 races. We think the first one's going to be either Vegas or Charlotte.
That was going to be my next question. When was that first one going to be? And is he going to get some more test laps in, after Phoenix and stuff like that before these races?
Yes, yeah, we're planning on testing the car after Phoenix on Monday. So our first, we really plan for our second team for Blake for our first race to be Phoenix, and we ended up getting the car together a little quicker than we thought. So we thought we'd bring it out for Gainesville, mainly testing. We did a planned shut-off run in eliminations. We only did one run in eliminations with that car, and as a planned shut-off, and we got it qualified and went to first round, and the car went out there and shook, and we had the plans if anything happened, we wasn't going to pedal it or anything like that. So all in all, we used it as a test session, and it went really well. The car went down the track and went down the track in testing one day. So we're very excited to bring that out in Phoenix, and we think it's going to be very competitive.
Well, and if I can ask again too, because I really don't know if people realize how much work went into getting that second car and your whole operation over the off season, the short off season, how much it had. I mean, you guys moved the entire operation from Springfield up to Indy and then added a second car. I mean, did I hear right that a couple of the guys were living out of a motorhome up by the shop?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was a really, it was a big operation, a big undertaking for us to do. We did move shops. We moved shops from Springfield to Indy, because we needed a shop big enough to support both teams. And we put together a full crew, rig haulers, a brand new race car from John Force Racing. And, we had a lot of teams come together to help us out. I want to shout out to, Josh Hart's team, Tony Stewart Racing, and the whole Force group. Between all of them, they really helped us put this thing together.
It's a community. It's a racing community. And I won't lie to you, Hart's teams are my favorite teams too, because I used to work with the guys. They even have the little heart bracelets on. So yeah, I love that everybody got behind you and helped you get this going.
Definitely. We could not have done it without everyone's help.
Dujanay, we lost your audio.
I was dumb and I muted it because I was clearing my throat. Sorry.
That's okay.
Having Blake on your team really has to give you a level of comfort, and also has to be a huge help. I mean, he comes from Jim Head, and I know he crosses every T, dots every I there. That has to be a huge boost for your team, especially when you're coming in with a new operation.
Yeah, Blake's a strong driver. He's a strong competitor. He's a good match for us. We know we're competitive with Blake. And so, it's up to us to just put together a good car, a good team, which I think we've done that. We've actually assembled a really talented team for that car. And, we've got another young crew chief that we're bringing up, Matt Bynum. We're really excited about him. It's kind of the same situation with my guys. We're promoting them up and promoting growth within the NHRA, which I think is important. You can't just have these same guys, being crew chiefs, forever. We got to have growth. We got to have new people bringing up. And we're really excited about the guys we got on our team.
100%. You can tell you're a business guy outside of racing, because like you and other business owners, when you have successful businesses out, it's showing in your race team. And like I said, you're thinking ahead, thinking of the growth and thinking of your crew chiefs. I think it's really cool.
Andrew has a question. He says, how do you balance racing and business?
Well, racing is a business too. It's all a business, and it's just a business that we all love to do. But luckily, back at Bond Code, I've spent many years, and I've got an excellent team there to help me out, or I wouldn't be able to, do this sort of thing. So, it goes both ways. You got to have a good team racing, and you got to have a good team back home. And fortunately, we've got that.
That is great. And now, have you guys thought ahead to what's going to happen? How many final rounds you're going to face each other in, and what's going to happen when you face Hunter in a final?
If we face each other in a final, that'll be a great day, because no matter what, we're going to come out winning. So the more finals we can face each other in, that would be that's better. So I'm looking forward to that. Actually, it's going to be great. be able to have two funny cars out there. I'm thinking about it right now. I think we're the only two funny car team out there now. So no, I'm sorry. Force has two funny cars, but you know,
Yeah.
be a total advantage to us. We'll be able to work off of each other, try different things, see what one car does, see what the other one doesn't. So it's going to be great. And, coming off the Gatornationals with our team winning, it's just a whole boost or a whole operation, both teams.
Yeah.
Man, you put together something last year. You guys were really starting to find your legs. And then you come right out here and punch them right in the chin and get yourself a funny car win. A huge boost early in the season has to give your team a lot of confidence going into Phoenix, where that Firebird Raceway is a very, very nice racetrack. Really should help you guys translate what you've put together here on a tough track over here this weekend. Put together something and kind of keep punching, so to speak.
Yeah, that it was a tough situation this last weekend with all the weather, the rain coming in, the NHRA having to, scrape the track, redo the track, and they did a wonderful job. Hats off to the Safety Safari, all the NHRA. Hats off to the fans out there because, every year the fans come out to Gainesville and they pack it out, and the rain came in and they just hung around and on race day we didn't end up doing E1 till I think is nearly 2:00 or something like that, and the stands were packed, and it was just so awesome. It's so awesome to get out there and actually get to race on Sunday. There was a time when we didn't even think we was going to get to race, and we got to race, got to get the full race in. The fans were there. It was really exciting. It was let me tell you, that race, the way it evolved for us, we started out, we only made one qualifying run. Wasn't even a complete run. We spun the tires down track. We got out there for Q2, and our oil pump broke during the burnout, so we had to shut off on the starting line. So we went into race day with, not really much data, not much to work off of, and my team really came around. The car really came around when it needed to. It was, the biggest round for us definitely was Q3. In Q2 we threw all the rods out of the motor, had a fire. We had to get back, crash on the car. Actually had both teams working on the car, and was able to barely make it up there. TSR waited on us. Hats off to them for that. And then to go out there and make that 92 run against Hagen, that was like just a monster run for us and the team, especially after the thrash we just went through. And that really gave us the momentum to go on and win the thing.
I know every win's a good win, but seriously, after a thrash, you're just like, thank you, it all paid off.
Yeah, that was a really awesome moment for us, to go out there and then to get that win against Hagen because, those guys are tough. Caps is tough. So to finish off the race, taking those two guys out was huge for our team.
Yes.
You guys lived in the 390s pretty much all day with the exception of E2 where you ran that 410. I think that was where you had the engine failure there, but you were able to roll out that 92 against Hagen and then another 92 against Caps. I mean, even if Caps would have been there, you guys had the better car. He in that round before had ran a 401. He wouldn't have had enough for you. And in E2, he ran a 395 one. Still wouldn't have had enough for you. You guys would have cut the same light if that particular run was in the final. He cut a 076 and you cut a 076. You likely would have beat him to the finish line because you would have ran a better number. So very impressive day for you guys. And man, I am so looking forward to seeing what transpires here in Phoenix for you guys. Couldn't be more happier for you, Chad. I am just like Nikki. I am about the little guy. And it was nice to see the little guy go out there and kick some ass.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. No, for real. That us too, we feel the same way. we're excited to get to Phoenix. I love racing in Phoenix. That's a great track. I expect, we're going to get out there and have some great performance.
Well, Chad, thanks for your time, and we'll hope to have you here on the Power Hour more this season.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Chad.
Chad Green, everybody. Yeah, I couldn't be more happy for them. Just the amount of work that it took to get there this offseason. And then to come out and to just really just knock them down. I mean, it was difficult on that racetrack to begin with, but to have the level of consistency that they had, being that they really only had one run, and that run was a 4:14.8, and he said it was a planned shutoff. So they didn't really have a whole lot of data to, develop that level of consistency, and they were able to do that. And we watched others with big-time crew chiefs who have history struggle in this thing. So that's pretty impressive. And, what I really appreciated about what he said is bringing up young talent.
Thinking about ahead, thinking in the future.
Yes, all this, not this recycling of Jeff Fisher, not this recycling, the same old coaches over and over again. No, we're going to bring up some
wrong.
new
I mean, those crew chiefs are really good, but
absolutely
they want to retire sometime. They don't want to. There's sometimes they're finally going to be like, I'm done.
Let them be in a consulting role. Let these young cats come up. They've been under a lot of great tutelage, and let them show what they can do. And I got to commend Chad Green for going that route and allowing these young guys to come up and make a name for themselves. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And when you're talking about the runs and how they only had that like 4:14 everything, do you know how hard it was to do the brackets then? If you looked at trying to do your bracket bonanza and you have Austin at qualified 15th, and you're like, come on, man, really?
I'm going to tell you. So what I did was I used the randomizer. Then when I went in to use the randomizer, I adjusted some upsets that I wanted accordingly. People who I kind of figured would have a pretty decent day, I went ahead and adjusted accordingly. The only problem is that I expected Doug to do better. Didn't expect the racetrack that we would have. I picked him. I picked Antron. I didn't pick Antron. I really thought Josh. I had a chance to have a moment with him and just really ain't talking about racing, but just ask him how his family was doing and how things were going. And, just talk to him a little bit. And he just seemed so upbeat. Yeah. He seemed to be focused, and the team looks very, very focused and very comfortable. And I expected them to go out and upset some people. And I believe if the track was a little bit better, if we had the track that we had after the rain, I do think they beat Antron Brown. I beat Clay. They beat Antron. And I think they get there in that semifinal round. They had some stuff that they had to be able to throw out there. We saw it in the Pro Superstar Shootout. Yeah,
I have to watch. The girls invited me to watch party, but number 1 is early, number 2 is working, and I scream at the TV. I'm just like, when my favorites are running, I'm in the TV. I'm like, I'm like, and my neighbors are, thank God my winters are so close. My neighbors like, what is that girl doing next door? But yeah, it was so hard. Those pedal fest in your heart from those. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, it was the track wasn't the best, but it was fun, kind of, not to my heart, but watching some of those pedal fests.
Yeah, it was a lot of, I felt bad for Ida Zetterstrom. Just to have to go out there and know that no matter where we place this thing, we're not really sure what we're going to get. Yeah. I think that hurt. Everybody talks about Tony. I don't mean to jump here, but everybody talks about Tony. Tony has the best track specialist on his team, okay?
He's the only one before the rain. He's the only one who made it from A to B. And like they said, who's his track specialist? The best.
The best.
Well, no, I think I mean, he's the one who consults on lots of the tracks, and so he's one of the best.
But I'm gonna tell you what, on a track that we had after the rain,
Much better.
Tony going home. Because that Monster energy drink car is a monster.
Yeah.
It really is. I think they are back. I think a lot of the team, what we saw late in qualifying on Friday, you're seeing a lot of crew chiefs. You're seeing a lot of cars that are back to throwing haymakers. And then you have the ones that have that potential, like a Josh Hart. You look at a Jasmine Salinas has that potential.
Yes, and good for Jasmine getting through that far, getting the semifinals. Great for that team too. Because same thing, they brought in Fashing, so they switched and they lost somebody else too who went, or Josh. So they have a little bit more of a new team dynamic over there also. Yes,
and Sean Langdon looking like he did at the end of the season, coming up through there, and really, really had an opportunity to win. You know what I mean? You just. Tough, had a great car all day. Yeah. They really had a great car all weekend. And to be honest, that kid had more laps than anybody that was out there on the track because he's
been over Dubai.
Cars, and he's been overseas. Yeah. So he was more than he's in mid-season form right now.
I'll admit he was my pick. For some reason, I was kind of going with my gut. And like I said, if you want to talk to anybody who's gone from here to zero, it's me. Because last year I picked him, and I got my perfect top field bracket at Gators last year. Where was I this year at this year's Gator? 681st place. Are there 682 people who play?
I'm sure there might be more.
Yeah, but I thought he was going to do it, and I thought, I also thought that Sean was going to break through a little bit more.
I picked him as a winner.
From the pro shootout, and my funny car where I got messed up is I thought Paul Lee was going to go farther too. I just like Paul's really the end of season and Johnny's really got it going. So there were lots of upsets.
I'm not going to say anything about my funny car deal with JR on here. I don't want to be told like Bob Tasca. I'm not going to say anything about that, but we do have the driver and the lead man for the Yellow Fellas over there in the green room. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are not already signed up for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if you go watch my promo that I cut for my sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza, maybe that might get you fired up to go ahead and join the party and win some cool prizes and get them for free. Where they do that at?
That's crazy.
If you don't know how to do this, my sponsor of the Not Bland Show will tell you, and we'll have JR Todd.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
And don't worry, Bobby, I'll get you the new commercial. We'll set that up in here. Right now, we have the leader of the Yellow Fellas.
Hey.
My guy, JR Todd. What's going on, man?
What's happening, guys? I don't know about the leader. I'm just part of the team.
Man, you guys go out and swing big. Talk about free agency frenzy, and we're in the NFL season right now. Splash, you made a splash getting Dickie Venables. What has it been like with him on the team? And my first question is, when we talk about football, sometimes coaches like certain players and certain things to execute their particular style of offense or defense. Did Dickie make any changes to your combination to kind of fit his style of what he likes to do?
Yeah, once Dickie came on board at Coletta Motorsports, I'd say right after Thanksgiving time, I mean, we changed pretty much everything on the car to get it to pretty much his package the way he wants it. So that's kind of where we're at right now, is in the stages of working that out. And I want to say, that he's going to come on board and wave a magic wand and turn things around, and we're going to run low ET and top speed every run down the track. But that's not the case. I mean, it's going to take some time for Dickie to get a handle on things. And I feel like, after a few races under our belts, I think that we'll be where we want to be and competing with the big dogs out there.
And now, how was it competing at Gainesville? Because isn't that really your home track now that you left us from the cold Indiana to go to Joy, Florida?
He's smart.
Yeah, I guess it's my home track. There's a track about 20 minutes from here that's just sitting dormant that I wish we could go test out here in West Palm. But yeah, Gainesville was kind of a crapshoot with the weather. Anytime it rains there, that place, it gets really tricky, and it's the same for everybody. But I mean, as you guys saw first round, there weren't a lot of cars going down the track. The starting line was pretty suspect, and that's kind of something that we didn't need for us, being that we're still, like I said, in the stages of working things out. But at the end of the day, I feel like, I should have done a better job pedaling it first round to give us a better shot going to second round. But we'll put that race behind us and go to Phoenix and hopefully hit the ground running there.
Now, you guys were at the Pro Superstar Shootout, and that body for that car was absolutely just tremendous.
Oh, yes.
That thing was just lovely. What did you guys learn there? And I know kind of hard for that to translate to Gainesville because we didn't have the nice Gainesville that we've had for the past 3 years. But what did you guys learn there at the Pro Superstar Shootout?
I think we learned that we have a lot of potential. I mean, the scoreboard didn't show it every time, but our early incremental numbers were the best that we've had since I've been driving the car. I mean, definitely capable of running some low 80s. And, we ran, 87 a couple times with a cylinder out fairly early in the run. So it definitely shows potential with the combination that Dickie has brought over. And I feel like we changed some other things after Bradenton going to Gainesville, and probably going to change a couple more things before Phoenix. But like I keep saying, it's going to take time, and that definitely gave me some hope after Bradenton that we're capable of going out there and running the big numbers like these guys. You have to run mid 80s nowadays. I mean, that Bradenton race was a good indicator of that. I mean, you had 8 cars running in the 380s, and we missed the show, which we weren't going there to race. We were going there to test. And I feel like it was a successful test for us, and we're still in the test stages, even though we're racing now.
Gotcha. I want to bring up other stuff, and this is just because you are on a podcast right now, and you hosted a podcast, which I'm going to tell you, I was a fan. And I'm like, are we going to get a reunion show or something, like a reunion special or something? We need it.
I feel like anytime there's some sort of controversy or I'm mad Sunday, I want to get something off my chest. I wish we had our podcast so I could let it fly. But no, it was definitely a lot of fun getting to interact with different drivers and different guests that we had on the show. And Sean, he's pretty busy in the off season and even off weekends racing. So it made it a little tough to do. And then I moved to Florida, and just, I don't know, things, for whatever reason, it kind of got put on the back burner. But I would say it's completely over. It's never over till it's over, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can organize with Bobby. We can have a special power hour and surprise, it's you guys. Because I got to tell you, one of my favorite episodes was because I grew up with Shelly and Jay. And when you said Shelly is going to be on the show, I'm like, oh, Lord. Oh, I'm not missing this one.
I know. We had her on, and she was under the weather and didn't have too many margaritas in her to where that's what I was hoping for, because when you get the real Shelly, like, she lets it fly and doesn't hold back. And that's kind of what I thought we were going to get. But even with her being sick, it was still probably one of our best shows that we had, and all the fans loved it. So, I mean, yeah, I definitely miss doing that. And like I said, there's times I wish that we could fire everything back up and kind of tell it like it is. But also, if we kept it going, we'd probably be in a lot of trouble by now.
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of like the Chappelle Show. It ended on a high note, and go back and watch the classics of the show.
I wish I had Chappelle's money after doing those few podcasts.
I know, right? Pat in the comments, and I was going to bring this up, but I'll let Pat get the credit for it. He says, what do you think about the disintegrating rear ends and are any teams experimenting with different alloys?
There's pretty much two manufacturers, Crispin rear ends, which we always run with the Funny Car Club of Motorsports, and then the Strange rear ends. And I know that they're having some gear issues with the Stranges, and that's why you're seeing these rear end failures, mainly with the dragsters. And then you saw it last weekend with Proc's car. I mean, that was nasty, and we don't want to see that in any type of car. But yeah, they definitely have some issues that hopefully they figure out sooner than later. But knock on wood, our Steve Crispin rear ends, they've been put to the test, and we haven't had any major issues with them at all.
You've been with Coletta Motorsports for quite some time now. As a matter of fact, I believe I saw your dad at the Gatornationals outside the Nitro Mall. But what's been like the most special part about being a part of this kind of legendary, team?
Shoot, everything. I mean, from day one when I got the call there to go to Vegas in 2014 and got to drive the Bounty Hunter dragster that weekend, that was a cool throwback. And then just more importantly, having Connie, believe in me as a driver and wanting me to drive his personal dragster, and then moving over to Scott Coletta's funny car. I mean, that's a pretty special car within our team, and just we've done a lot of special things with it. Winning races. I got to win there in Sonoma. That was my first funny car win in Eric Medlin's backyard. Won the U.S. Nationals a couple times. Won the championship in 2018, and then we did the throwback car there this year in Bradenton with Scott's family there, and won Gainesville last year with Sean with Scott's family there. Just there's too many things to make number one on the list. It's been a special moments at Coletta Motorsports, and hopefully we're not done making those special moments. I just kind of pitch myself every day when I wake up and know that I drive for Connie Coletta. And whenever you see him at the track, I mean, the guy's 87 years old now, and still happy as can be that we're out there representing Coletta Motorsports and the Coletta family the best that we can.
Yeah, I doubt JR remembers. I'm one of the people who had to deal with a little bit of that fallout from 2014 being my PR position. All of a sudden I get a call. Yeah, JR. I remember that well.
Yeah, that was a pretty wild weekend, that's for sure. But
yeah, because weren't you just at home and it's like, yeah, can you come drive?
Basically, yeah. It was pretty much around this time of year, March Madness. I was with my parents out on a Friday night and get a call out of the blue, and next thing you know, I'm going home packing my bags and heading to the airport and getting on a Southwest flight for Vegas.
Wow.
Insane.
Cinderella story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Blake asked, what is your favorite race on the tour?
Probably Sonoma. I mean, for whatever reason, I've had a lot of good luck there. It's one of my favorite tracks. I mean, I like that area of the country, wine country. I mean, I love red wine, so going out there early and checking out the different vineyards. But I don't know, just something about Sonoma. Just it's a neat facility. The staff there, I mean, they treat you like you're a first class guest, and it's always at the top of my list of places I look forward to going. Then Indy, the U.S. Nationals. I mean, that's a race I've grown up going to since I was 9 or 10 years old. So those two are right at the top of my list.
Yeah, and you do so much in Sonoma too to help. In Sonoma, you do a lot to help remember Eric, who's one of your best friends, and everything like that. And you won it in 16 because I have the greatest picture. You just that champagne, just shooting that champagne and everything like that. But yeah, is it a little bit, it's so special to win it for Eric too, I imagine, winning in Sonoma.
Yeah, for sure. Because I got to share the winner's circle there with him in 2007 when I was driving the dragster for Dexter Tuttle and he was driving for Force. And then, to win there years later, especially in a funny car, which he was always kind of pushing for me to get into a funny car. So to go back there and do it there, it's pretty special, and it definitely pulling in the gate. I mean, that's the first thing I think of is Eric for sure.
Yes.
With your team, You had the addition of the crew chief. Any new people on your team as well?
No, that's one great thing is we haven't had any turnover in the last couple of years, and still got Jono there working with Dickey. So it's pretty much just bringing in Dickey and getting all the parts and pieces that he wants, and that's a great thing. We don't have to train the guys to do anything crazy. So I mean, they're getting adapted to Dickey, and he's getting adapted to them, and it's been a good fit so far.
And Dujane mentioned your body that we saw in Bradenton. Are we going to see that again here anytime soon? Because like I said, it's just so beautiful, so different. And I love the throwback cars.
I wish I could tell you yes, but I don't know for sure. I don't think they've peeled the wrap off of it yet. I believe it's still sitting back at the shop wrapped. So I guess there's an opportunity for us to do it, but I think it'd be awesome if we could roll that thing out of Indy like Caps does with his snake bodies and things like that. But we also got sponsors like DHL that we got to keep happy. So it's a matter of making it happen with all the sponsors. But I wouldn't say that it's not a possibility. But who knows? That's not up to me. That's a Chad Head, Connor Coletta decision. That's way above my pay grade.
And all I'm asking is if they do the throwback body, please bring back the red pants. Please bring back the red pants, the red shorts, please.
Yeah, so I'm all for it. I mean, we made some T-shirts for the Bradenton event that had that car and then Scott's original car, which I mean, they were selling pretty quick. So I'm sure if we did some kind of throwback scheme and uniform in Indy, it'd be a really big hit.
So here's my thought process on that. Epping is a throwback race to me. The way the facility is, it's a smaller venue. That would be great time for a throwback race. Everybody come out and have some type of throwback body that they bring out. Maybe you have throwback uniforms, the whole 9 yards, and let it be a specialty race. I think it kind of fits with Epping and what that kind of environment feels like. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, you're rolling the gate at Epping. It's like going back in time. My first 300-mile-an-hour run was at Epping in 2000. Bruce Litton's dragster, and the facility hasn't changed a whole lot since then, except some fresh blacktop here and there. So yeah, I mean, I've been saying for a while, I wish we could do some sort of throwback race like NASCAR does with Darlington, whereby it rolls out their throwback schemes, and whether it's Indy or Epping, wherever, I don't care. But yeah, Epping would be a cool place to do it and be fitting for us with that body, being that we do our, Eddie Coletta Lobster Fest, a tribute to Scott there on Saturday nights. It would definitely be real fitting for us.
Yes, you'll have to bring the mullets back too. You'll have to do like what Dan Hood did when he went full on, brought back the mustache and the hair and everything for that throwback.
I tried the mustache in Bradenton, but it didn't bring us any good luck, so I shaved it off the next day. But I'm not opposed to bringing it back.
That took some getting used to. Never saw you with a mustache before. That took some getting used to.
It takes some getting used to for me too, man. It's different. Having that thing tickle your nose and all that.
Yeah. I just this year did the whole beard thing. I was clean shaven too for a long time, and it took some. I didn't think I'd be able to get through it, but now it's like second nature. I don't even notice it anymore. So it makes me look a little bit older.
Once you get through all the itch, you're good. But yeah, I got some grays in mine also. That's why I try to keep it trimmed up.
Yeah.
I have no in the fight. Yeah, nothing. That's what wax is for us girls.
I hear you.
What's your thought on this in-season champion?
It's good. It gives the guys a little more incentive to go out there and compete right off the bat to get some more bonus money to where, I mean, I don't want to say that a lot of teams are testing earlier in the year, but there's just not a lot of importance on going out there and setting the world on fire early in the year when it really doesn't matter till after Indy when you make the countdown. But now I think it gives teams definitely a little more incentive to go out there and be the points leader going into Indy. That's for sure.
I call it the load management deal. Takes away that load management nonsense, makes people fight to the end.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I want to go out and win every race that we show up to, which that's not possible. But
right.
Also, like I said, with this new combination that we got, we're still kind of in test mode, but we weren't going to Gainesville to not win, trust me. So when we get to Phoenix, we definitely expect to get qualified well and go out there and compete to win and make up some ground in the points. That's for sure.
Yeah. Good thing you had the mulligan early in the season. JR, thank you for taking the time to come on the show. Really, really appreciate it. And I'll be in touch later. Maybe you can come on to the Not Bland show, and we're a little bit more laid back over there on my show. But really appreciate you taking the time, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully, we're back on later in the year, at least talking about some victories or something like that.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, JR.
Thank you, guys.
JR Todd, everybody.
Gosh,
You guys need to go watch the Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall with him too. That one was really great, and I think they all are on YouTube as well. Nicole, I want to ask you right out of the gate. I don't know if you heard, but Robert Height, no more racing for him.
I saw that on Susan Wade's. I saw it on another.
Yes, courtesy of Susan Wade.
Yeah, but I saw she works with us and everything too. But yeah, I did see that, so that was a surprise to see.
It was.
I know that was a big passion for him.
Yes. So now my thought is, did he just step away? Was it really for health issues, or maybe he was just ready to ride off into the sunset?
Well, the nice thing is we will see him because his daughter, Autumn, is still driving. She's doing Super Comp, and I talked to Autumn in December at the banquet, or was it January? I talked to her at the division banquet, and she's full on her Super Comp. And so, she has a great teacher and a great mentor. So I hope we'll see him out with Autumn when she's racing around the track.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'm not surprised, but I'm kind of surprised. But at the same time, you kind of go out on top. So not a bad way to finish a one heck of a career that he had. That's for sure.
I thought you were going to ask about something else everybody's been asking about and talking about.
Go ahead. Drop it.
I think a lot of people have been talking about. Bob Tasca said something that has everybody talking. He said something, biting the hand, kind of thing,
I thought it was great. They have shirts. Allie and the gang had shirts that were made in response.
The speed check, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, they feel the same way. They felt very slighted by that and was disappointed in Fox for doing that.
Yeah, when I saw the commercials, I'm not gonna lie, because I live in Indy and I'm a huge IndyCar fan. I've become a huge IndyCar fan. Love the guys, and the first thing I thought of when they had that, I'm like, I love the commercial, but you're not the fastest, boys. You are not the fastest. So I did think of that, but then I also have the business part of me and the TV person in me, real life job where I know how TV works. I know the massive investment that Fox Sports has made in IndyCar and the ROI they're getting from IndyCar. So I'm just a little, surprised, because when I saw that, my first thought was, well, if they're doing this for IndyCar, I really, hope that this spreads and shares the love over to NHRA.
Right. I do think they will benefit. Yeah, I do think they will benefit. Everybody will already be locked into racing anyway, and to be able to follow that up will be huge for the exposure. I actually had an opportunity to sit with a young lady who's going to the University of Florida, and was there because she does media, and she loves I think it's F1.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm going to start paying attention to it, being that it is on Fox now. I will start paying attention to it, but yeah.
Oh, I like what Todd said too. If you read his comment, he said, Fox's ad says NASCAR has the best drivers in the world. So no ad is really correct, because they don't have the best drivers in the world. NHRA does.
Yeah. I agree with you on that one. There's a lot of slander going on in a lot of these ads here, but I had no problem with Tasca doing that. I'm glad that he just decided that he wasn't going to take it to social media and, type it up. He wanted to let them know by voice, and I have no problem with that.
Yeah. And like I said, we talked about earlier, they had an ad agency who did it, and an ad agency who knows nothing about racing. And they made, like I said, they make beautiful commercials. They aired during the Super Bowl. They're really good, and they're trying to sell their product. And, they have one production company who does their stuff, and NHRA has a different company who does their stuff. But, it just wasn't right though. I'm like, and like Joe had mentioned earlier, he's like, well, the bosses had to approve it. So
yeah, they had to approve it. So they knew exactly what they were doing. Not smart. I want to know your thoughts. IHRA trying to make a comeback here. Apparently they may have made or not made some mistakes on talking about acquisition of tracks. The blunder, yes, I think you gotta watch how you word things. At the same time, though, I really don't care about what track these tracks that are going to be hosting their events is affiliated with, and I don't think they should be either. At the end of the day, they need every track that they can possibly get to either A, want to be a part of the IHRA, or if they're with WDRA or whatever, let them be able to run their events at their track. They need it, and that's the only way that they're going to have some type of success in their comeback.
And for the people who out there who may not know, what happened is IHRA came up with a big announcement saying, hey, we procured these tracks. Okay, great. And then today, one of them, Maryland's like, no, that's not how it works. Yeah, we're going to have this race, but no. And then they came out with another one. If you want to follow all of it, you can go to competitionplus.com, where Bobby has 2 great articles on this on who said he should, she said what. But yes, that's what's going on for people who don't know. It's like, yeah, we acquired it. Oh, no, you didn't. Well, yeah, we did. So, because they said, I don't know if you saw it late today, they're like, oh, no, we stand by what we said. We acquired it.
Yeah, they're standing on business. And that, I don't know. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I think you're right. Their partnerships and acquisitions are 2 different things.
Yeah,
they are. And, watch how you word things, but be thankful that these tracks are willing to bring back, especially for MIR. That is one of the prestigious races that they had on their tour and was huge at Maryland International Raceway. That's my home track. That's where Clay Millican was born in the IHRA. Huge events there at MIR with him there. I'm excited about them coming back though. And I believe it is needed. Yeah, they need it. And hopefully there will be some innovation, forward thinking. And if you can do that, it can be, I'll say it's an alternative. There's no competition. There shouldn't be any competition. It's an alternative. And that alternative is needed because there's plenty of cars out there, nitro cars out there. They just can't afford to run the NHRA tour, and some can't even afford to really come out and be competitive in that realm for that kind of money. So I think if they do it right, they can have great competition at an affordable price for those who are out there that want to run nitro.
Well, that's why Funny Car Chaos became so popular.
Yes.
Everything is just, there were these people, it's like, hey, we have Funny Car, we want to run it. We just can't run it this much and spend this much money. But hey, let's, and Graves came with this great idea. And you've seen the entry fields at Funny Car Chaos. They're very laid back. It was hard for me for my first Funny Car Chaos because I'm like, why aren't you guys sticking the schedule? What's going on? But very laid back on the line. But same thing. It's another outlet for people who want to race. It's another opportunity for, people to leave their wives and families. Go race.
Indeed. Indeed.
Oh,
Indeed.
another race, honey. Sorry, gotta go.
And speaking of racing, a guy who is really hitting the red line, trying to get home from March meet, is on with us. And after this break from Redline Oil, we'll talk to Monday Morning Racer Lee Craft about the famous March meet.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline Oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline Oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
There's the Road Ranger Lee. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, guys, just driving along. This stop brought to you by Flying J and Verizon Wireless here on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Was able to listen into a lot of the show. I had more signal across I-40 than I thought I would outside of Flagstaff, and certainly enjoyed the conversation with Chad and JR and what you all were having as going on right before I interrupted the show.
Oh, no, you're not interrupting. You had a great time out there. I've been told everybody on the Not Bland show, and I'll say it again here. Great coverage of the March meet. You'll find that on Monday Morning Racer. You need to go over there and check that out. A lot of great videos. And look who's in the comments. Bob Tasker III. Tell us about March meet.
Well, gotta say, I picked the right drag race to go to. The Gatornationals was a bit rough. Spectacular race in its own right, though, but that was rough. And I've been there for the Gatornationals when it has been like that. That was a very special Gatornationals. Went to the final round with Doug Foley. That was cool. But this time, my March meet was bright and sunny, unlike the last time in 2023. The first time that I went, there was rain and it pushed back Top Fuel running. They didn't run until like October, and you know, some folks left. Anyway, this year, what a spectacular March meet. It is something that whether you watch it on competitionplus.com, or I do highly recommend you take the time to look at my content when you get the opportunity. Took the time to go into the pits and get the drivers on camera, on mic, and weave it all together of what was going on for March meet. You have the story of like Pete Peterson, the odd occurrence of the fuel system basically backfiring, and there's a fuel tank explosion, and it's his last race, the team's last race. They're emotionally hurt, and yet they're not going to go forward. Yet he was number one qualifier for AA fuel altered. No one went quicker within the index into eliminations than him. They put in an alternate, which was Bill Wyndham, and Bill actually went a round. And you have someone in Kyle Huff who wrecked on Thursday, sideways into the wall, keeps it straight each and every round, turns on every wind light necessary to win the March meet. And it was very emotional for him, his grandfather not passing not that long ago. You also have then in Top Fuel, Tyler Hilton, Team Great Expectations, 3-time champ in a row in the Heritage Series. It seemed like nobody had anything for him. The only thing he lost up until the final round was a testing round against Ryan Horan, and barely got nipped in that one, but he sets the pace early, stays number one qualifier, goes into race day as number one qualifier, and gaps everybody. But something, whatever it was, late in the final round, and Pete Kaiser picks up another March meet victory in like 30 years in Top Fuel. He had like a 049 to Tyler's 100 something, and Tyler could not run him down. And then, funny car. No, it wasn't Ron Capps. It was John Capps.
Really?
In the Yes, John Capps in the Matthews racing machine which is a machine that it is no slouch. They can go out there and they can perform. They were having some struggles, didn't look like themselves, but in the last qualifying session, he rocketed to number 2 with a 5:56. Shane Westerfield and that Austin O'Brien machine qualified number 1 with a 5:54, and number 1 and number 2 face each other in the final round. And Shane, as great as a driver as he is, a championship driver in Top Alcohol Funny Car, he turned on the evil red light, and John Capps rocketed on down to a win. And he was shocked. No one was able to tell him until they roll him up to where photos are being took, and they're like, get out of the car, get out of the car. He's like, why? He's like, you won March Meet. He's like, what? You know, so
I love it.
He jumps out. In many ways, every winner to some degree was an underdog. And at this March Meet, the ones that you thought and expected to win, they didn't. So great storylines, spectacular racing, spectacular weather. Saturday, which is the big day there for the March Meet, it was slammed. You had cars parked in the orchards.
Wow.
Around the track. It was great to see. Blake Bowser was happy. He didn't pull any of his hair out.
Yeah, I bet you he was ecstatic because he was fired up when we had him on the show last week about the March Meet, and I'm glad it was a great turnout. They put in a lot of hard work. He puts in a lot of hard work to make that thing happen, and I'm glad that it was everything of what he wanted it to be and more.
It absolutely was. Spectacular March Meet, and honestly, I think I've got to say it. NHRA, Blake Bowser, Famoso Drag Strip, everybody involved, figure it out each and every year where the start of the NHRA Mission Foods Drag Racing Series and the March Meet do not fall on the same weekend. Figure it out. Ron wants to be there. Dale wants to be there. Matt Bynum wants to be there. You know, so many of the right. Figure it out. I know that every year you're not going to hit it with weather depending on what the dates are, and you're racing in Florida and you're racing in Bakersfield. You never know what you're going to get this time of the year in March. Sometimes you can have the mid 60s to low 70 days and sunny, and it's spectacular and it's great racing weather, and then sometimes you're rained out. But keep these race weekends separated. Do not put them on the same weekend.
Yeah.
Do not do it.
No. Don't make people choose, because
if you do choose, go to California at this point in time. No,
because it was ugly. Oh, it was ugly. Saturday
driving. Oh my God, Lee, bless your heart driving that far. I couldn't do it.
I've got
used to it. I've got used to it.
I love the drive.
Where it comes challenging is on the way back and trying to bust out videos in the morning at Starbucks that becomes your office, and then you're shooed out because you've been there too long as you're trying to upload, and then still get several hours down the road underneath you. And then the hardest thing. Thank you for stepping in tonight, Nicole, because Nikki, it really helps out. Here's why. When you are on Pacific time and you're heading east and you're like, this show starts at such and such time, can I make it to the next available internet stop? And is it then worth for me to get a motel, or do I just need to keep driving? There's a lot of calculations that happen on the road doing this live stuff.
Yeah. And so this is a testimonial proof to show how much Lee cares and it shows his passion for drag racing. Look at what like you said, it's your life, and look how much passion is. You're doing this in the morning, you're driving, all to bring you guys this great racing coverage. So thank you, Lee.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And right now, oddly enough, I haven't found a Funny Car sponsor for the Funny Car video to come out, thanks to Fuel Altered Chaos, which will be taking place November 14th and 15th at Tucson Dragway, a Run What You Brung heads-up fuel-altered race for every fuel-altered imaginable there at Tucson Dragway. That will be taking place Chris Gray stepped up, sponsored the fuel altered coverage that dropped today. And then thanks to Ross Racing Engines and Hilton Hot Rods, whether you're rodding or racing, you need Ross Racing Engines. And if you're going to ride to the hilt in your hot rod, it's Hilton Hot Rods. They stepped up for the top fuel coverage, but no one has stepped up for the funny car coverage. And funny car at the March meet is like the big class. It's over 16 cars trying to make the field, and it is a 16 car field. As of right now, I actually will not even break even. So yes, passionate about the sport to maybe a dumb fault is accurate. So somebody, if you're out there, step up, call me, email me. Would you please? I will plaster you all over this spectacular funny car action that will be dropping in the future. And oh, by the way, shout out Darren Williams Jr. I asked him, I said, hey man, I need another cameraman. Just having a second angle really adds to the footage, adds to the content. Absolutely. And he's like, hey, call this guy. Called Tristan Triac out of like the San Francisco area. And he did a phenomenal job. If you need a photographer, you need a videographer, Tristan Triac Photography, give him a ring.
That's awesome. That is awesome that, Darren always comes through when you need him. That's for sure.
No, he doesn't.
Not tonight. No. Not tonight. Not tonight.
Oh, calling him out.
But I think there's conflict there. I don't think he can actually talk to actual opposing teams. That's what I think the conflict is.
That, and also he might not want to be on right now as a John Force Racing employee on a show and the questions that he would be bombarded with. So
yes, he would have gotten flooded with questions.
Right.
You heard about the rear end blowing on Prot's car.
Yes.
Should we really start? You would thought there would have been a heavy investigation last year when we had this happen. Now it seems like we need to get a little bit more a deeper dive into this thing. When you start having funny cars doing this, it's one thing for a dragster. That's not really that's not good at all for a funny car.
Yeah. And that happened, the dragster one happened in testing too, with the top field teams when they're pro, same thing. And I think did they start the diaper rule after testing, or was that before Bradenton? Because they said that Austin had a diaper then now too.
Yeah, I think that rule was started. I thought it was started at Bradenton, but it may have been started after Bradenton.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes. So, wow, we got a issue for sure, a serious problem, and I really wonder if it's beyond even just a batch issue, and it goes all the way back to raw materials or something like that. Mm-hmm. What is fascinating in all of this, the Chrisman, no issues. Nothing against Strange. I don't know anyone at Strange, but they've got an issue, not the Chrisman. So, like right now, you can.
I've heard that from.
Right. So right now, from what I understand, if you're running a Chrisman, because of the way in which it is designed, the pumpkin, the container, if you will, you don't have to run that diaper. It's all about the Strange.
Yeah.
So Strange has got an issue somewhere, and they know that, and I'm sure they are looking into it. I'm sure they are trying to figure it out. But I think in a lot of ways, ladies and gentlemen of the gallery, I think the sport might have hit a very hard technological wall with performance, because we got the tire issue right now and we got the rear end issue right now. There's
an issue. So Doug was running the Strange when that happened then, because I know we spoke to JR and they said they run Christmas, but he had to be running the Strange when that rear end blew.
From what I understand, yes, there hasn't been any issue with the Chrismans. That's what I have heard. Yeah. And I know people who want to get a Chrisman, but he is at this moment apparently swamped with work, and also I overheard him at PRI. He's like, hey, my customers that have stuck with me, they come first. And I don't blame them.
I don't blame them either. That's good business.
Loyalty. That's the business rule. Loyalty pays off.
Indeed, man.
Are we getting Lee into any more stuff? Are you staying for anything else? Like, I know in the comments, and we talked about it earlier. Are we diving into the Vance and Hines stuff at all, or the little social media back and forth now going?
Hey, it's first race of the season, and I'm gonna be honest. It didn't need to be said, right? It didn't need to be said. They let him fix it, which, first of all, Matt got to find a way to not have these little issues be hiccups this season. We saw it at the end of last season, and it cost him races. He can't have these little hiccups be an issue. We gotta eliminate that, because it's clear he's got the bike, and he's got 4 of them that can run with Vance and Hines. But Andrew says that
because just to back people up. At the final, Gage waited for him to get his butt. Like, Gage had just started, and he waited for him. And then it went back to Andrew's then interview.
Yeah, Andrew says that he should have been ready, and the ready line is back there. And he pointed towards the staging lanes. And I was like, dang, all right, we going to go there. We're going to do this now? Like, I didn't think there was a big issue to go take a shot at him, but that didn't go over well.
Angie's spicy. I love her.
Yes,
over well.
It did not go over well, and I have not seen much Gator Nationals coverage, just with all the work I've had to put in with everything from March Meet and being at March Meet. It's interesting following an event that is like 4 hours ahead of you, and you're at an event still covering it. It's interesting, but. You know, I read the post. I can understand Matt's frustration. I would say, just from a sportsman aspect, if you waited, why say anything?
Yeah.
That was my thing.
And if you are going to say something, next time when the NHRA tells you to fire up and stage it.
Right. Now, Gage, I think it was probably Gage's call. That's what I'm thinking, because why else would Andrew say anything? Matt was very appreciative of Gage taking the time to let him get his battery reset. I think it's cool. If he chose to do it, that's fine. But Andrew takes shots, and it's like, man, we just in week 1, man. Like, we doing this already, like.
Hey, look, for the class overall, they keep figuring out a way, whether naturally or unnaturally, to keep themselves at the front of the controversy. And was Jack there at all this weekend? Did you see Jack?
No.
I
don't believe he's allowed back there.
Okay. Well, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. He's getting good content of, barmaids at Daytona Bike Week. So I don't blame him. But I mean, it would have been interesting if he was there, and if he would have jumped on it, he would have, and we'd have even more, and the spin that would be there.
He's going to fan it.
And rightfully so. I mean, it's again, I don't understand if you waited, and even if it was the call by your rider. Take the call that your rider went with, and I don't understand why anything needed to be said. Fire up and stage it next time.
I think they're still a little pissed with the slander of last year.
Certainly.
They took it on the chin. And I guess they're tired of taking it on the chin, so they're throwing some haymakers of their own, which, you know what? I don't even care, because the class is actually benefiting from it.
Yes,
it is.
It's getting eyeballs to it, and it's natural. I mean, Paul Triple H Levesque couldn't even write this story, so this is good.
I agree.
And did you fill out a bracket, Lee? And how did you do? If you
no. Look, I think that Elon has a spectacular thing that drag racing absolutely needs and deserves in Drag Racing Bracket Bonanza. But I do not play because every time I play anything fantasy, I commit, I work, I lead, and then I forget an entire weekend, and I just say forget it. So I just don't even bother no more. I don't play fantasy football. I don't play fantasy NASCAR. I don't play fantasy. Nothing, just nothing. Like I was doing really good like the first 4 races last year, and then I forgot a complete entire weekend covering Funny Car Chaos, and I just no, I didn't. But I'm actually kind of glad I didn't for this aspect, because I probably would have, been even more on my nerves and in nerves, because trying to pick apparently this weekend was insane.
Ugly. Andrew, I don't know if you were aware, but that track at 9:30, well, they didn't even start at 9:30. So you didn't start on time, and the track was still looking like boo-boo.
The overhead shots, you could see it.
Oh, yeah, it was ugly. I mean, it was ball spots everywhere. There was rubber coming up on the racetrack.
Karate called it out. I didn't realize it was bad until Karate was going, hey.
I saw it before, and I was like, there's no way. And we're doing track walks, and the track looks like that. I mean, I understand y'all want to get it in and all, but give them something to work with. And, I know that Tripp takes responsibility for, over driving, but that doesn't happen if you don't have a garbage dump track that you just delivered to over 10,000 horsepower vehicles who are out here trying to win races. That wasn't presentable at all. And, I feel bad, and I feel like that's a little bit of responsibility because that track wasn't prepped right. Sure, but he's out there to win, man. At the end of the day, he's out there to win, and that's what he was trying to do. I appreciate him taking responsibility, but still, yeah.
I mean, Safety's First credit, they were out there early, and they were doing all. It's just
needed more.
Some tracks kept green better than others. I mean, look at the longest time they had it, and what Andrew was referring to is Atlanta. That was a little bit different because that was the dew point, and that where the windows were fogging up and everything, and they still sent him down. They sent Bob down, Vandergriff. He ended up on like 1 wheel, 2 wheels, and luckily did not hit the walls. And then even better is he got out of his car and he just went right to Graham. Is like, yeah, we shouldn't have been doing that. And he ended up getting fined because he abandoned his car on the racetrack. But like some tracks are better than others. Topeka used to have a problem where it wasn't so much the rain, it was after it rained, it would seep up through the track.
Yeah, so I remember that weekend.
But all of a sudden we have to stop because there's water. And I think Charlotte may have done that one time too, where the water kept coming back up the track.
Yeah. Bad
there's
situation.
Nothing you really do.
No.
You have to wonder, one, why does the NHRA send them? And they have sent cars in other questionable moments. I can recall a year ago, 4 wide Z-Max. It was starting to rain, and they sent 4 Pro Mods. Then you also, though, have to say, if all those crew chiefs walked that track, why did they not all say, we're not sending our driver?
This right here.
Before, I think.
This right here. And I am not, Dave, you're 100% right. All those crew chiefs saw it. They knew exactly what that was. They didn't have to run it. They all could have just said, hell nah, that thing looks like garbage. Fix it, or we're not running.
Yeah, this is one of those times that I can't help but like, okay, where is Pro in these matters? Like in the moment. Like, is it not? Is it not there for these type of situations?
Right. That is a very good point, Dave. Very good point. I didn't even think of that angle, but yes, they should have stood on business on that one. They know how to band together for anything else, so they could have stood on business on that one.
If you've got people out there that know tracks better than anyone else, and they are putting that gripometer down there, whatever version it is, and they're just like, this is not good, then why are you, again, band together and say, look, NHRA, I know you want to start this. There might be TV. This is not the right conditions, though. We have got to give this some more time.
And like, I talked to another friend who was like, it's kind of like the crew chief's job. Because like I said, Safety Safari they put in the time. They did a lot of work. And, her opinion was, well, that's what you're dealing with. That's your job as a crew chief, is this is what you got now. Tune your car to the conditions. But that's just her opinion too. But I thought that was a good point too. But
in certain aspects, I agree with that. This one, when you got rubber being peeled up on the racetrack and that starting line is bald, that's not even fair conditions. That you shouldn't even, as the NHRA and to put the Safety Safari out there and to make them look bad because you want to rush a show, that ain't it. You at least got to give them something to work with, and there was nothing to work with. And Dave, I get Tony went down. He's got the best track specialist in the business that somehow made it work.
Yeah. And then afterwards, it was much better when they had the time after the rain. And they
got the mulligan. Yeah, they got the mulligan, and boom, all of a sudden we know how to prepare a racetrack.
And then, by the way, not to drift off a little bit, but we never got into the fact that the track that was cursed all weekend, because then they lost power. Oh yeah, great, let's run. Oh yeah, no power. Sorry.
Insane.
Yeah, glad I went to March meet.
I was not so sad after that. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of glad I didn't get to go to Florida.
I didn't show up Sunday.
Look, beyond all this, we're talking hindsight, critical decisions were trying to be made from NHRA, crew chiefs. I'm sure there's crew chiefs right now that are like, man, I'm glad my driver got down, but I really don't think I should have sent my driver. And there's probably drivers, they're racers, and they look back and they're like, man, that was sketch. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it, and I'm okay. Look, how about this? In that crew chief chat that they're all in, figure this situation out and how to properly handle it. Where, the Safety Safari has put in work, but maybe there was more work that needed to be done, and it was not ready yet. Again, like, where is pro in these situations? Is there going to be discussions after this? Or is it just, we have this chat, we have this talk, fingers are pointed, we go to the next race, and it's all okay until we get to this critical moment again, and it will happen. It is inevitable.
Yeah, and you know what, too? What this also proved how important it is for the sportsman classes to be able to run early in the morning, because there was no passes on this track. It rained the night before. Saturday it rained all day, and it rained through the night Saturday night. Then you prep this track. Ain't been not one car's gone down it. So you're trying to prep this track, and you didn't have enough, normally on a Sunday morning, you at least have some passes on it before, we have the big show start. But it proves how important that is to be able to have other cars to be able to make these passes down the track to lay down some rubber. Because in those conditions and what they had to deal with, the humidity, the rain, the moisture, really made it difficult for them to try to basically prep a track on their own. That early in the morning, too, I think really was a problem as well. At 9:30.
Not surprising, the first two cars down the track pedal fast and lost power.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not gonna lie, is a little exciting, and not the results I wanted, but
yeah, we needed to sage this event. Dave says the entire event was a terrible start to the year. No Saturday racing. Sportsman didn't finish. Pro Mod and Factory stopped racing in Chicago. All-Star call-out moved to Pomona. They got the pro cars in. That was about it. Yeah, and that is about it.
That's it.
But I think the All-Star call-out is where it should be further down the road anyway.
I agree.
I said it on my show.
Time in. Gotta get some smack talk time in.
Right. How you gonna come off a vacation? Half of y'all just came off the beach sipping Mai Tais, and then you want me to be in an all-star call-out after. I'm not mad at anybody. I'm feeling good.
Cool.
I'm ready for the season. I'm happy. Everybody's starting 0-0. So we're all shaking hands, kissing baby. It's kumbaya out there. And then you want me to go into a call-out and you want me to talk trash. I can't talk trash about the guy because I'm just as happy as a lark. We just all have vacations. Everybody's coming out 0-0, looking to start the season, and everybody wants to win a championship. Everything's great in the world of week one.
Right.
Kumbaya.
Yep.
Come on. Move it down.
I've always said, I don't get it being at first somebody's like, well, that's where the sponsor wants it. So that's where they'll spend the money. But I'm like, you got to talk to your sponsor and say, this is how it works. And you're going to get more bang for your buck and more attention because people are going to be talking about more of these controversial lineups. I still don't even know like who picked who. I mean, I think I know Tony and Steve, and that's only because Tony's PR social people posted it. I don't even know who any of the other matchups are. Where the funny car won, that was, in Indy was insane. I mean, heck, Bob Tasca led a fan. I was there. He's like, oh yeah, you're oh yeah, Ford girl. Hey, who should I pick? And
I like that. It's unique. Change it up a little bit. That's what I'm looking for.
I like it.
Change it up a little bit. So we'll see. I think it might be a better show being moved down the road there in Pomona. So.
And one other thing, really, to kind of touch on that too, we talked about earlier. What do you guys all think of the new NHRA TV? I know I'm a big fan with the changes they've made. As I told somebody, the thing that when NHRA TV first started, it almost felt like it was the raw feed of the show, of their taping. It's like they're taping the show and here's the feed in between. Now it feels like a real production, a real team, great banter. I was a fan.
We all know Dave Freiberger knows cars. What I felt like they did to him this weekend is they threw him in the deep end of the pool and said swim, and he can't swim.
He had a couple bumps.
More than a couple, but I'll let you be nice about that. It's not his fault, though. I'm just going to say that. It is not his fault. Okay? Let him get seasoned up and kind of get used to the pro class, because I guarantee you, sportsmen and others, I guarantee you could call that really easily. That's in his forte. That's his in his resume, in his portfolio. But to throw him out there, don't really know the nitro cars just yet. Don't really know the personalities, the people, and throw him in the deep end. You made him put him in a bad situation, and I don't like that. Because I think the production over time will be better. They were very fluent.
Yeah.
Of course, Jason Galvin does an excellent job with being natural. There's no pre-written or pre-thought one-line zingers. It's just whatever he's feeling in that moment, naturally feeling as he's watching and calling the action is what comes out. I really thought that was great. I thought the rotation was really good.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. I saw Jason and I just congratulated him a little bit in the media room. And, he really deferred to the fact that, he's like, it's nice, but he didn't feel like he deserved to be in that spot. Joe earned the right because he's put in the time here and has earned the right to be in the booth. And I think they're going to be, it's going to be like we talked about weeks ago about it being a fluid rotation of guys. I don't think there'll be a set group. It will always be fluid, but You know, he felt that Joe deserved that spot, but I guarantee, I'm just going to say this. He's right on that, but last year when Jason had to step in for Reinhardt, he did an excellent job, man. He showed that he's capable of being the lead guy.
Well, even like I said, even just having more than one person in there and having banter instead of your monotone voice, all thing the same cliches. You got two people in there. I like that they brought Jordan up into the booth too, and I even texted him. I'm like, Jordan, you did such a good job. He's found his niche. He's found what he's really good at. So I enjoyed having Jordan up there talking with them, and like you said, just even having people talk back and forth and have different opinions instead of just that one monotone voice all day. And Lee didn't get a chance to watch.
I know you didn't get a chance to watch, but
Mike English is one of the best announcers out there in drag racing, and he announces there at Famoso Drag Strip and the March Meet, and got to hear it many times, dipping into the Twilight Zone. So yes, there you go.
I miss Mike English.
Twilight.
He's such a good guy. I just miss Mike English because he used to be out there all the time, and he has great social media. He always has the dad jokes, and he always alerts me to California police chases.
yeah, Memphis Lonnie, they run out. They don't run out of video now. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they used everything they had in the arsenal. As I like to say, they unloaded the clip this weekend. They better not have another rain delay. They don't have nothing left.
They used everything in the evergreen.
Yeah.
They're like, throw that out there, but that's okay. That's okay, and it's gonna happen again. But yeah, I just, like I said, I really like what they did, and it looks like more production out in the graphics quality. I mean, before we never had the graphics. It was, like I said, it was what they were producing and what we happened to get. Where they now have like all the TV, shots of the drivers. If you haven't guessed yet, I'm a TV nerd, and that's my real job. And I work in daily news. And so to me, it's like, this was a true production. I even texted Rob Hedrick, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys really, killed it this weekend. So I really like the upgrades that they did.
I do too. Sound quality is a lot better too.
Oh yes.
and at the track, they have added tons of great speakers out there along the track. You can hear the announcers clear as day out there in the stands. Even when cars are running, it is very clear. They did an excellent job. The upgrades are very well done. And I think now it makes it more palatable for individuals to pay that $160 because they feel like they're getting something, and then they're getting something special. So Good stuff.
Yeah, but once again, TV nerd here and former PR, I'll still do it, but I'm, when you have a client, you fight for him. So I watch NHRA TV, and then afterwards I go onto FS1, which I've DVR'd, and I watch it to compare the coverage, because I'd be like, hey, why didn't you interview my guy? He got 3 rounds. Why'd you? So I'm a nerd where I watch both, but that NHRA TV is really caught up with the quality that you're seeing on FS1.
Yeah.
It's good to hear.
Before we get out of here, in 10 days, we'll be having something special. A season will be beginning. If you watch the Not Bland show, I had the great clip of Sega from the Sega Genesis come up for that. I've been thinking about it all week. Lee, we got some great racing coming here to South Georgia Motorsports Park. Was able to talk to Leslie Horn today. Great conversation. He's excited, although he's still thrashing to get his car together and get everything together to get here. They are super excited, and a lot of Sega community in the comments tonight, and they are excited as well.
It's going to be a great season opener, and it is a milestone season opener for the Southeast Gassers Association. This will be the biggest venue that Sega has ever attended for a points-earning event at South Georgia Motorsports Park. 2-day swap meet, along with the racing action. on Friday night with, call outs and grudge racing and testing, and then rolling into qualifying and eliminations on Saturday, you are going to get all the great action that Sega provides there at South Georgia Motorsports Park. And we're going to have tomorrow night Raul Torres, the manager, operator there at South Georgia Motorsports Park, on Sega Live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll chat with him. We'll chat with Greg Stelz, driver of the Joker. It's going to be a great time, and it's going to be a great season opener. South Georgia Motorsports Park is known for phenomenal drag racing, but something they really don't have in the portfolio is nostalgia drag racing. Agreed. And when Raul Torres reached out to Sega to bring in Sega for their nostalgia program, he arguably got the best nostalgia program that there is right now. He did definitely get the premier gasser outfit that is out there right now. The closest to period correct, the drivers actually driving, no riders allowed, wheel standing, gear jamming, wind lot turning on action. That is Sega. It's going to go down at South Georgia Motorsports Park.
Yep, I can't wait. Me and Lee will be there covering that thing, and I'm super excited for that to come up here. I've been eyeballing it since the schedule came out. I am really ready to go and to get this thing kicked off and started. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the peak of our show. We thank you for taking the time to comment and chat and give us questions and tune in as we had Chad Green and J.R. Todd on the show. I want to thank our lovely sub, Nicole Clark, for stepping in for us here, host of Women Take the Wheel podcast. And thanks for dropping in, Lee, to give us that coverage of the March meet. Heck of a job. Again, you guys need to go over there to Monday Morning Racer and check out all the great coverage from March meet. There was some fun stuff, and you will see that dragster hit the wall. I got a chance to see that earlier because I've been just kind of glued to it. But you guys need to go over there and check that out. And good night, everybody, and we'll leave you with this word from Peak.
If you want to take your vehicle's performance to new heights, you got to give it P. Like our original equipment technology, antifreeze, and coolant. Our formulas match the vehicle manufacturer's technology requirements so that we have the perfect match for every vehicle. That's one reason why Peak is among the fastest growing brands of coolant in America. We work harder to earn the trust of people like you every day.